Tonight on CTV News, we have extensive reaction from the winners and losers of the most hotly contested Christchurch electorates. A prominent political analyst shares her views on Labour's historic defeat, and we wrap up the weekend's sport. This is CTV News. I'm Grant Mangan. It was an election dogged with accusations of dirty politics and personal attacks. In Christchurch, visiting MPs and political leaders were quick to make promises to sway voters. However, in the end, Canterburyans had their say, and National held its ground in the Garden City.
Things couldn't have gone better for the National Party during Saturday's general election. With more than 48% of the vote and a total of 61 seats, National will lead the government. However, more than 200,000 special votes still need to be counted, and these have favoured the left in past elections. In Christchurch, National continues to hold its ground. The formidable Jerry Brownlee wasn't about to let Labour steal the Island seat he has held for 18 years. He received 10,000 votes more than his nearest rival, Labour's James Dan. Christchurch Central MP Nicky Wagner fended off Labour's attempts to claim back the seat she has held for the last 3 years. And Matthew Ducey became a first-term MP, retaining the Waimakariri seat for National. Labour kept its Christchurch East, Wigram and Port Hill seats, but National won the party vote in every electorate.
What a great win for Nicky Wagner. We're looking at Port Hills, look, almost across the line, but the party vote was well in National's favour.
Disappointed.
What did you think of the election over the weekend?
But I think it went well.
I think a pretty fair outcome myself, yeah.
Absolutely gutted, eh? Can't believe New Zealanders are so stupid.
I thought they went really well.
Yeah, it went alright. I thought it'd be a bit closer.
There was too much on personalities and on dirty tricks, and they were virtually hijacking the election, which I found very, very annoying.
It's not too bad. I don't really mind it.
Other than Dunedin North, National won the party vote throughout the South Island. So what does that say about how Canterburyans believe the government has handled the rebuild?
I got faith in National. I haven't, sorry. I can't see it being done in my lifetime. I'm 56 and I'm just gutted.
When you walk around Christchurch, what a great opportunity to see new buildings, to see great new places we can go and visit, you know, cafes we can go and enjoy.
It may be going slowly, but at least it's going well.
You hear a lot of people say about the negatives, but I think everyone's pretty happy with that, about where it's going.
I think in the main, most people accept with what's happening and they realise that it's moving ahead, even if it is slowly.
For the first time this election, advance votes were open to anyone for more than 2 weeks before the election. However, around 1 million people didn't bother turning out to the polls again. The Prime Minister has a clear mandate. Despite a lot of bad press in Christchurch about the pace of the rebuild, National has won the party vote, even in safe Labour electorates. This suggests that the majority of Canterburyans are happy with the rebuild and the way it's progressing. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The newly elected Waimakariri MP is eager to get stuck into work as soon as he can. Joelle Bautista spoke with Matthew Ducey.
Saturday's general election was a night many New Zealanders will remember forever. For National's Matthew Ducey, he's excited to be stepping into his new role.
Oh, very excited, very happy and very proud to represent the people of Waimakariri.
Matthew Ducey's electorate vote of 15,684 was more than 2,000 ahead of Clayton Cosgrove. There were more than 47,000 people eligible to vote, 97% enrolled. That's one of the highest numbers across the Christchurch electorates.
I'd like to thank the residents and voters of Waimakariri for their confidence. I'm very humbled, very honoured, and I feel very privileged to be able to represent the people of Waimakariri.
Looking back over the successful campaign, Matt Ducey says his campaign was very old-fashioned. The new MP says door knocking on more than 10,000 doors paid off.
What it was about was getting out and meeting the voters. We went out and door knocked over 10,000 doors, put over 150,000 leaflets through letterboxes, put up over 120 signs, and spoke at over 30 street corner meetings. So in the end, campaigning, just getting out and meeting as many voters as possible.
Heading off to Wellington for his Member of Parliament induction this afternoon, Matthew Ducey then plans to get stuck into the work.
And then I'll be looking to undertake constituent work in the Waimakariri as soon as possible, working with constituents around earthquake recovery issues, whether it be EQC or insurance or other general constituent work.
Hoping to build on what former electorate MP Kate Wilkerson started, one of Matthew Ducey's first focuses will be the Rangiora Health Hub.
We'll be meeting with Canterbury District Health Board to look at how we can get our health hub operational as soon as possible, and looking forward to meeting our transport ministers to understand how we can bring our roading projects forward so we can give Waimakariri commuters a reliable travel time and less congested roads.
Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Christchurch Central was a Labour stronghold for decades, so why has it fallen to National for 2 elections in a row? Nikki Wagner is entering her second term as MP for the electorate, while Labour's Tony Milne is disappointed with his loss.
Nikki Wagner at home celebrating her success.
I'm feeling very pleased. I'm very grateful to all the people who were involved in our campaign, and I think it shows that the people of Christchurch are sensible, rational people.
For 6 years, Nikki Wagner was a list MP in Christchurch, but it was only in 2011 that she claimed the Christchurch Central electorate as her own. She held the seat with a 47-vote majority, and during Saturday night's election, increased that by more than 2,000 votes.
I know that it's been a tough time for them over the earthquakes, but I think they've seen the support that the government's put in behind them. They've seen the Prime Minister here week after week after week, and I think they think we've done a pretty good job under difficult circumstances.
Her main opponent, Labour's Tony Milne, who knocked on more than 10,000 doors, was gutted with the result.
I'm pretty disappointed. Obviously, we were campaigning to win. I think we ran a really good campaign, but the tide was out for the left in this election.
So what went wrong for Tony?
I think it's a reflection on a lot of things that we're doing as a party. It's not just about the leadership. We're going to have to reflect on the policy that was on offer in this election. We're going to have to reflect on how we're connecting with voters.
University of Canterbury political science lecturer Bronwyn Hayward says Tony's downfall was his inexperience.
Labour had put a new and young candidate in there. Now I think they've got to think carefully about not taking communities for granted.
Right-wing blogger Cameron Slater took Labour's loss as an opportunity to attack, saying that although Milne's campaign was technically competent, it didn't connect with voters. He also suggested that by 2017, Nikki Wagner will have 20,000 extra voters living in her electorate, and many of them will own expensive new houses. He predicts it will end up being a safe seat for National, and that Nikki has ended Labour's decades-long grip on the electorate.
I think we need to earn that opportunity as long as National keeps delivering and people are happy with what we do, they should vote for us.
Wagner has really earned that electorate at the moment. She has worked very hard for a significant period of time.
We'll never win seats like Christchurch Central when the Labour vote is down around the low 20s.
Tony isn't ruling out another shot at the electorate in 3 years' time.
I think now is not the time for those decisions. I was really only thinking right up to Saturday. That was what my entire focus was on.
Electorate boundary changes last year saw some of the more affluent streets removed from the electorate, and Tony almost didn't have a challenger when Nikki Wagner considered pulling out altogether.
And I thought, oh, can I do this? But I intelligently decided to sleep over it over the holidays and come back in the new year. And by the time I come back to the new year, I got over that and thought, yep, got to sort this Christchurch Central out.
She was rewarded for her commitment with new ministerial roles. Nikki now hopes to keep her portfolios of customs and statistics, as well as her role as Associate Earthquake Recovery Minister. She would also like to become a minister inside of Cabinet. She flies to Wellington tonight to find out more about her future in the National Party caucus. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Labour Party slumped to just 24.7% of the party vote in the general election. It's Labour's worst performance since 1922. Joelle Batista spoke to political analyst Bronwyn Hayward to get her view on what happened.
When the numbers started to crunch, the Labour Party couldn't keep up, losing the general election with a menial 24% of the votes. Political analyst Bronwyn Hayward says for Labour, it's been a long time coming.
Well, I think it's been building up for a very long time, probably since the end of the Clark period, where we saw a very strong leader and not enough growth underneath of new talent coming through. So this has been a problem for Labour for a long time. But
Bronwyn Hayward says the collapse of the Labour Party vote is a serious issue for the party moving forward. What she believes they really need is more time to come into the city and work alongside the community.
I think especially they need to look at those electorates where they have received a good endorsement for their candidate, but the party vote is very low. That's people telling them, you know, we like these candidates, but we really don't like what you're offering at the moment as a party.
Across the Canterbury region, while national support didn't change dramatically, Bronwyn Hayward says after a disaster we've learned it takes at least 3 elections before a big political change.
Well, I've always argued that it takes at least 3 elections before you see the lie of the land after a disaster. That's what we've learnt from other cities everywhere, because it's very hard to shift the incumbent government. So when you've got one party in, no matter who they are, if they've done a reasonably competent job, then while the city can be critical, people are very cautious. They don't want to make it worse, so they just stick with what they know.
What she believes Labour have to do next is work hard to show exactly what they would do differently that Canterburyans need.
They can't come in with half a scheme. They have to actually have built their networks and come in with clear and exciting alternatives to show how they're going to stand alongside this community and help us and keep the momentum going forward, and what they would do differently to build the recovery, not just the rebuild of the centre.
Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Coming up, Ilam residents are outraged at the Christchurch City Council over parking.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
3799799. Remember the nights. Go Blue Star.
Blue Star Taxis has been servicing the Canterbury region for over 80 years. Canterbury owned and operated with a passion for providing safe, reliable public transport in Christchurch to Cantabrians and visitors to our city. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company. Oi!
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
Ilam residents are outraged at the Christchurch City Council's proposed plan to provide more car parking at Jelly Recreational Park.
Now attracting more than 1 million users a year, Jelly Park's Sport and Recreation Centre is a popular place. Usage of the Island Centre has increased rapidly in the last few years, from 600,000 users per year to over 1 million. But the car parking only allows for 177 motor vehicles. The Christchurch City Council is planning to transform some of the park land at the recreation centre into an asphalt car park. The council has secured a non-notified resource consent for the new 72-spot car park. Nearby residents only learned of the plans when Island resident Phil Tyndall saw men with clipboards and tape measures across the street.
The only way we did hear about it was my wife and I noticed some guys with clipboards and tape measures over at the park one day while we were having lunch, and I just couldn't help myself. I had to go and ask, because we've sort of been a bit vigilant about the park.
Phil Tyndall says the neighbours are outraged by the parking plan and are determined to save the green space.
To be honest, you could describe it that we're in grief about it. You know, it's sort of like it's a loss, and it cuts. You know, to have something that you value and you treasure just, you know, arbitrarily whipped away, or in this case tarmacked over.
Understanding the need for parking, but not wanting to lose the green space permanently, Phil Tyndall wants the Christchurch City Council to find another option.
Jelly Park is a lot more than Aqualand, you know, the swimming pool. It has other users and other uses. You know, personally, I don't use the pool, but I use the park every day. And we feel that the council have basically not considered other uses and other users, and just seen it as a problem for a swimming pool to be solved.
Resident Phil Tyndall plans to organise a petition and use social media to drum up opposition. The Fendleton Waimari Community Board has asked City Care to stop their car park work until there has been further conversation with the residents. Joel Batista, CTV News.
A busy Riccarton Bridge was closed today for structural repairs. Close to Riccarton Bush and Christchurch Boys High School, the Kahu Road Bridge will remain closed to motor vehicles for the next 8 weeks. The earthquake-damaged bridge walls need to be repaired, and that will take place from the riverbed. The bridge will remain open to cyclists and pedestrians. Suggested alternative routes are via Riccarton and Fendleton roads, so you can probably expect some delays. A recent grant is helping a South Canterbury farmer to fast-track restoring a wetland where endangered long-tailed native bats have been found.
A local water management zone committee is funding projects to protect the environment. As part of the $10 million national program, more than $3.5 million has been committed to 200 projects in Canterbury. The program is now in its 5th and final year and will be winding up soon. A recent project committed $17,000 to restoring a natural wetland. More than 90% of wetlands have been lost since European settlement. Just over $200,000 of funding is still available for projects around Pleasant Point. In the Ashburton zone, a similar sum is still available, and in the lower Waitaki, $165,000 is available for use. Some projects have involved reintroducing a wetland environment to land.
Still to come, weekend sport and weather.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526. Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our Par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring, moving company.
Oi!
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
3799799. Remember the nights, go Blue Star.
Blue Star Taxis has been servicing the Canterbury region for over 80 years. Canterbury owned and operated with the passion for providing safe, reliable public transport in Christchurch to Cantabrians and visitors to our city. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
First five, Aaron Cruden has paid the ultimate price for a drinking session before the All Blacks left for Argentina. Canterbury's Tom Taylor has been called on to help fill a gap left by Cruden's departure. It's not the first time Taylor's donned the black jersey. Last year he played a part in the All Blacks' 27-16 win against the Wallabies in Wellington. Taylor's last game for the All Blacks was in Japan last November. And now for a much fuller regional sports update, here's Gordon Finlater.
Canterbury remain unbeaten in the ITM Cup after their 28 points to 20 win over Counties Manukau on Friday night. Counties put up a fight in Pukekohe, denying the Red and Blacks the 4-try bonus point they had become accustomed to this season. Canterbury did well to absorb early pressure from Counties and may thank themselves lucky after Counties wasted 12 points from missed penalties in the first half. Leading 20 points to 6 at half-time, captain Willie Hines went over the line after a dominant scrum to give the team a comfortable 25-6 lead early in the second. Counties mounted a strong second-half performance, but it wasn't enough as Scott Robertson's boys hung on for their 6th straight victory. Canterbury now face a full-on week with a trip to North Harbour on Wednesday, followed by a match-up against Southland at AMI Stadium on Sunday. Canterbury's women's rugby team have followed in the footsteps of our men's side, going to the top of their NPC competition when they ended Otago's unbeaten run in Dunedin. It was a crushing defeat for the previously unbeaten Southerners as Canterbury unleashed all of their offensive prowess in the 51-15 encounter. Canterbury now holds a 1-point lead over the also unbeaten Auckland. Still with rugby, where the presence of former All Blacks Rico Gear and Heka Elliott wasn't enough for Poverty Bay as they went down 32 points to 28 to South Canterbury in the latest round of the Heartland Rugby Championship. The win keeps South Canterbury in second behind Buller, who continued their impressive run with a 29-19 win over defending Meads Cup winners Mid Canterbury. The result leaves Mid Canterbury mid-table, 10 points off Buller after 5 rounds. Local teenager Healy White defeated former world number 5 and Team England player Baden Jackson over the weekend at the 8-ball pool Super League tournament hosted at the Woolston Workingmen's Club. White sent the competition favourite packing in the first round 10-7 and then progressed as far as the quarter-finals. The tournament was won by former English pro Adam Marlowe, who defeated 10-time Kiwi champion Jimmy Henry. And finally tonight, Saturday's spring rally through Geraldine's Kakahoo Forest was taken out by Darren Galbraith and co-driver James Bracefield. The pair carried on from recent form which had seen them win the four-wheel drive challenge class in the New Zealand Rally Championship. Galbraith finished the six-stage event in a time of 1 hour, 5 minutes and 24 seconds, 25 seconds ahead of runner-up Richard Bateman. Local boy and event drawcard Hayden Padden finished the event in third and was first overall in the two-wheel drive class, driving a BDA Escort. The rally had earlier been led by Richard Baddock, whose day was ended after this roll at the beginning of Special Stage 6. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Finlater for CTV Sport.
Each week we invite our viewers to suggest some music to accompany our regional weather. This track is called Prime Time by the Alan Parsons Project. Now let's check out the weather around Canterbury.
Let's take a look at the temperatures. South Canterbury, Timaru 8 degrees down there for you today. Temuka and Geraldine both on 8 degrees. Ashburton 8 degrees down your way and Methven was on 7 degrees. Rakaia also on 8 degrees for Monday. Darfield 7 degrees for you today. Leeston and Rolleston 7 degrees. Lincoln also had a high of 7 degrees today. Christchurch had a cold day with 7 degrees, and over in Akaroa, well, it wasn't any better with your high as 7 degrees. Looking out north of the Waimakariri River, Kaipoi and Rangiora and Amberley all had 8 degrees for Monday. Taking a look further inland, Culverden and Hamner Springs both were on 8 degrees today and 8 degrees in Cheviot. And up along the east coast, our friends in Kaikoura received a high of 7 degrees. Let's take a look at the weather for Tuesday. Timaru, fine with sunny periods during the morning and some cloud during the afternoon with light southwesterly winds. Tonight's low -1, tomorrow's high 14 degrees.
Even the longest night won't last forever.
Ashburton, frosty to begin with, then fine and mild during the morning with some high cloud and light winds. Some low cloud developing during the afternoon with cooler southwesterly winds. Tonight's low -2, tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Christchurch, cold at first, milder later, with a period of cloudy and southwesterly winds developing during the afternoon. Tonight's low -1, tomorrow's high 14 degrees.
And it's a prime time, maybe the stars were right.
And up in Kaikoura, mostly fine and sunny with light winds. Those temperatures aren't looking too bad with tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Tonight's low, however, will get down to -1.
Well, even the brightest star.
The rest of Canterbury can expect fine temperatures with some cloud about. Let's find out what those temperatures are for Tuesday. Temuka and Geraldine, a high of 15 degrees tomorrow with -3 overnight. Methven and Darfield, you can expect 14 degrees with a low of 14 degrees overnight. 14 degrees is expected in Rakaia. Leeston, Rolleston and Lincoln can expect -2 degrees overnight with a high of 14 degrees for Tuesday. Over in Akaroa, 14 degrees is your high with 1 degree overnight.
Something in the air.
Out north, a fine day for Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley, all on a warm 14 degrees. Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, 15 degrees, but a chilly -3 degrees overnight. Looking ahead for Canterbury, mostly fine and sunny with scattered high cloud on Wednesday and Thursday. Winds mostly moderate and northeasterly, but may turn moderate westerly at times. Temperatures will be fairly pleasant. Mild northwesterlies and high cloud at first on Friday, but a period of colder southwesterlies may bring some brief showers during the afternoon. Fine with sunny periods and high cloud on Saturday and for much of Sunday with northeasterly breezes, but cooler southwesterlies and showers developing from Sunday evening. And that's your weather update for Monday. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And that's CTV News for Monday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.